You know,
What's that?
it's nice to
All
talk
right.
to you.
Yo, hold up. Yo, what up, what up, what up? Welcome back to Pinoy News. Man, listen, all right. I got my boy Mitch the Ripper here with me. I got fucking Kathy here with me. You know what I mean? I invited a few other people, you know what I'm saying? See if they show up throughout the stream. And if you want to join, link is in the goddamn Discord. Y'all know how it works, man. But listen, it's fucking Friday. You know, or wait, Saturday. It's Saturday night, right? So I figured, you know, it's time for Tom Peace to do a stream. And, you know, I mean, Mitch is one of the smarter guys that I know as far as shit's really concerned. So I figured I would bring him on here to bounce shit across, right?
You overstate my case.
Yo, you're an intelligent dude, right? You know, I mean, I like intelligent guys being around me. It's highly important, right? Like last week, we had a black Hebrew Israelite who decided that he didn't like the Jews. You know,
Don't see. Okay.
Go ahead. Listen, man,
No,
you had a whole
I'm-
thing about the Jews
I'm-
you wanted to go into, but yo, go into your thing about the Jews.
It's just, it's like if you mention them now, I'm going to go into this routine. I swear to God, I'm tired of everyone and their focus on the Jews. There's too much focus on the Jews. You know, either, and I'm not even upset with the Jews. I'm upset with everyone who feels the need to talk about them. It's either everything is because of the Jews and it's their fault, or my God, aren't the Jews great?
I just feel that people just kind of look for somebody to point the finger at because they don't really know who to figure is the bad guy. Like everybody needs a bad guy. It's the whole Disney ideology.
It really is, and I mean, it does go back quite a ways, doesn't it?
Well, you know, like it's like Tony Montana said, man. You people need people like me to point your fucking finger at and go, "That's the bad guy," right? Well, say goodnight to the bad guy. The last time you're gonna see a bad guy like me, right? Yeah, that's what the fuck it is. Motherfuckers need somebody to go like, "Yo, that's the person to blame," right? It's like people who blame the goddamn fucking blacks, or people who blame the fucking Puerto Ricans, or people who blame the Mexicans. Like it's not their fault. Right? Like, yo, it's the system that's the problem. And that's really what I wanted to get into tonight. You know what I mean? It was like, let's talk about the fucking system that creates all these goddamn problems. You know what I mean?
You ever get your shoelace caught in your bicycle chain?
You know, it's
yes,
not as much of a single individual.
It's because of the fucking Jews, isn't it?
Well, you know, I mean, like the
that's
Jews did. Wait. The Jews did invent the motherfucking aglis. You know what I'm saying, right? And I learned that word from Phineas and Ferb, right?
What, aglet?
Yeah, aglet.
I thought that one was common, but no, it's that level of silly when it comes to people blaming / praising the Jews. It's for every little thing that. Quite frankly, it's like, Dave, your whole family's Roman Catholic. You haven't seen anyone else in 6 years. You're going to blame the Jews for this? It's stupid.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like the problem is that, like, number one, people really have a very, very terrible ideology of banking and economics as a whole, right? So and by the way, say what up to Alan Clive Hargan, Ballistic Zero, and Johnny Boy. How y'all doing out there in the chat? Right, but like people have a very, very bad understanding of how economics works, right? And like they feel as though like loans are predatory, right? And they feel as though like the people running the economy are like evil monster, like they're monster masterminds behind some curtain, you know what I mean, just out here trying to fuck the low man. But the truth of the matter is like they're just trying to make enough money to make sure that like the boomers are able to retire. And that's like their entire fucking focus. And like nobody really understands this, right? And like we've promised people a lot of things that just aren't going to happen, and we can't have that conversation because, you know, they're not capable of like really having a full-fledged conversation altogether because they want there to be a bad guy and they want there to be a solution, and sometimes there's just not one.
They want it to be their bad guy.
No, they just want a bad guy to blame.
No,
they just want somebody to blame.
Yes, they do, but they want it to be the bad guy of their choosing, is what I'm saying. In a lot of cases, it doesn't matter as long as they get to blame their bad guy.
You know, torches and pitchforks, they're a powerful thing.
Well, again, I don't think it's their bad guy, dude. I don't think it's their bad guy. I don't even think it's that. They just want a bad guy to blame, and there isn't one. Like everybody made the best decision they could at that time possible with the information they had, right? And then like they move forward, and like you move forward 30 years, and like you have a system that's set up terribly, right? Because like these like things move and things change, and the way like shit works, like 1 and 1 stop making 2 at a certain point. because like you
The
stop
word is
adding in the
organic.
second one. Yeah, organic. Yeah, organic's good. I like organic.
Like, it just comes down to the fact that, like, I've recently used the terminology of an old dog kind of thing, where a dog will continue to live and be a dog for a long time, but near the end of its life it'll start kind of breaking down, and there's no necessary reason for it as to the fact that it's just getting old. Like, shit just breaks down over time.
Yep.
And it's
And
it's a basic concept that people don't necessarily understand.
it's actually got a name, entropy.
Mm,
Entropy is
entropy.
essentially all systems break down over time.
Oh yeah, but like it's not just that. So like in 1970, they had this thought pattern that like the world was going to be massively overpopulated and like everything would have been fucked, and it would have been right if like we would have kept growing at the pace we grew at that time, right? But like we stopped because like we just I mean like people like moved into cities, and like inside of cities you stop having kids because you're not on the farm and kids aren't farm equipment, they're couches, right? I mean you can only fit so
Yeah.
many couches in your house, right? This is how it works because adults are adults, right? And so like you end up having less people, and when you have less people, I mean these type of problems change, but then you end up creating new problems where like the systems that you created to pay taxes in to be able to afford more individuals to be able to like have fucking social programs and have like fucking welfare and fucking social security and Medicare and all these things stop working, right? And like the idea that like you're going to retire because of the fact that more people are going to be investing into the market than motherfucking that keep coming in, and people stop coming in, that's a problem, right? And like we haven't had a real conversation about what's going on and like what we want in the future because we can't, because everybody's been promised shit, and politicians have to be elected, right? And a politician can't be elected if he says like, yo, you're gonna have to take your medicine and shit's gonna have to change. You're gonna have to go back to living with your fucking, like your family members for a while. You know what I mean? And like, just changing the entire way we live. That's not palatable to like people who have been
Anybody.
sold in like an ever expanding motherfucking like more better life and shit. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I do, and it's largely because I love being tired. The I can't think of the word. The not the cataclysm. I can't think of the fucking word. Damn it.
Apocalypse.
No, it's not even. It's a catalyst. Thank you. The catalyst for a lot of this stuff is government interference. Government hasn't made anything better since its formation. Not really.
I mean, all right. So like, you need government, right?
You do.
Like
You absolutely do, because there is when it comes to a nation or even a state, there is business that must be conducted. So yeah, you need a government. You also need a for a society to function. And I know a government and a society are different, but there's a lot of crossover. But for a society to function, you do need a unifying idea.
Yeah. A government is something like a roof, okay? Like, it needs to be there, in order to keep your house in order. However, it does need to be swapped from time to time.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. I love where both of you just went. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you need a government for defense. You know what I'm saying? As a whole, because like that's the whole purpose of the beginnings of a government is so like you can go, hey, look, we got to work together so we can keep these other fuckers from coming and stealing shit. You know what I mean? That's what government's for, right?
Yeah.
But like the unifying myth. Right. The idea that we all have the same shared values and language and culture and like things of this nature so that we can just live together and peaceful. Right. I'll be honest with you. Like, I've been having conversations recently where like we've basically come to the conclusion where we go, we need to stop being Europeans and stop thinking of ourselves as like, white, and stop thinking of ourselves as Anglo-Saxons, and stop thinking of ourselves as Italians and Germans and fucking whatever.
No, we're
and
Americans.
Let Europe go. We need to form an American culture. Dark Star Mobile, what up? Trinity Sales, how the fuck you doing? DJ Ronnie G, man, welcome, my brothers. Yeah, love y'all being out here, right? But like, we need to form into like American cultures, but we can't have one American culture because this is a continent.
Right. There's okay. It's America, the United States of America. Let's put it that way.
Good,
Is
good, good.
unique in the world. It founded on the principle of liberty, yada 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 yada. And we didn't run with that the way we should have. I mean, we did some things that the West in general said to hell with slavery. We got rid of that. Kind of, I should say, because if you look at the 13th Amendment, it just 13th Amendment essentially says that you may not own slaves, but the government can under certain circumstances. But that's another story. Getting back to the unifying ideology, our Bill of Rights serves as a unifying ideology. Yeah, there's going to be little arguments here and there about it, and that's fine. That's actually a good thing that we, if someone doesn't hold the Second Amendment with the same reverence that I do, that's great. Then because it just gives me a chance to point out to them that the Second Amendment's not exclusively about guns, and there's a whole big discussion to have around that.
You
But in
wait.
general,
You want me to tell you a secret about the Second Amendment that
Sure.
you might not know?
Shoot.
It was actually made for like the whole defense ideology, like that whole like Japan, the general standing up and going, "We should attack the American mainland." Like the old dude going, "There'll be a blade behind every a gun behind every blade of grass." Yeah, that's what it was actually made for, right? It's like to defend a free state, right? You know what I'm saying? Like fucking the right of the people to keep and bear arms, right? But it's not, but it's literally not for the government. It's not to like protect us from the government. It was to protect the 13 colonies, originally the 13 original states, from France and Britain and the Native Americans and the Spain that were all surrounding the United States at that fucking time. Right, because like our heavy borders were basically the Appalachian Mountains, you know what I mean, and like a couple of rivers down south. But like that's it. That's all our borders were, and so therefore our best defense was to have us be, armed. Machiavelli actually put it in his Art of War, which was, if you ever conquer a land and start a new princedom, you should, lead the guns in the hands of the people that you conquered, because like they'll fight for their backyard faster than they'll ever fight for a king.
Yep.
Actually had very little to do with fighting the government. It had actually nothing to do with fighting the government itself, right? That was not what that shit was about.
Except for one thing, the Second Amendment is there to maintain the security of a free state.
Well, they considered themselves a free state at that point. That's where the mentality was.
Yes, they did. I'm just saying that it's the only place in the Constitution where the phrase free state is used.
It's the whole thing's about like the optics have changed, but the principle is not.
Right.
Well, I mean, like a lot of gun nuts who defend it, say it's the fight against the government, but it's bullshit. But anyway, right, off the weeds, back into the regular argument, right? So the problem is with the idea of like a unifying like American thought or mythos or fucking ideology is this shouldn't be a country. Like this place is too goddamn big to be a country. Like altogether, like it's just too goddamn big. There's too much fucking landmass. There's too many different geographies, too many different groups of people to be a fucking actual like fucking nation, right? Because we have like 9 or 10 different nations inside of the United States, and that's really where I get down to. We should start getting into the point where like we have like a conversation about what should be the countries here, and it shouldn't just be the states because it doesn't make any sense because most states couldn't stand on their own.
That just
no, California certainly can't.
Well, I mean, like for instance, like North Dakota could not be a state by itself, a country by itself. It wouldn't be able to survive. Like fuck it, it would need other states with it. You know what I mean? Like so.
Right. It doesn't have. I can't think of any single state that has all of the environmental factors available to be self-sustaining.
Well, all right, PA does, but like Pennsylvania, New York. Trying to think here of other states that could possibly do it. Florida, Texas.
What about Georgia?
Georgia wouldn't be bad. By the way, I got to say what up to Gaming and Yelling, Floyd, motherfucking Evil Dead Ed, and Justin Kuhn just entered. And Darkstar, my brother. How y'all doing, man? Welcome, my brothers. Welcome.
Fucking gaming's here, yo. Gaming's a fucking G,
Yo, love these guys. Love these guys. I was gotta say what up. But yeah, like there's a few states that could stand on their own, right? Like Florida most definitely could, Texas could, fucking New York, Pennsylvania could, fucking probably Michigan could, right?
They
There's a
all
couple
have
others.
to. I'm talking about absolute self-reliance too.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
they
That's
they
what I'm
could,
saying
all
too.
those states could do it, but they would still be relying on imports of one kind or another,
What variety?
and
Are you
probably
talking
exports
like
too. And that's where you get
are you
into
talking tech, medicine? What are you talking import?
anything.
Yo, Pennsylvania pretty much has everything we'd ever fucking need.
Yeah, because
what do you got in oil?
Pennsylvania was built as one. We have oil, we have
All right.
natural gas, we have fucking food, we have water, we have fucking meat, we have dairy, we have fucking transportation, we have
Lumber,
metal
fucking
production, we have
stone,
we have fruit
metal.
production. Like yo, yeah, we're fucking good
All
as a
right.
whole.
Yo, even our fucking road system, as shitty as we fucking call it, like it's still pretty functional compared to like a lot of other places. Being the Keystone State.
Yeah, and on top of that, everybody has to transport to us, so there's a lot of available taxes to be able to like just drive from just transportation as a whole.
Yo, Pennsylvania is the
yeah.
land of milk and honey.
It is. It really is. It's fucking amazing, and it's one of the best defensible positions too. This river on one side, mountains like throughout the middle of it. You know what I mean? Like, yo, come fucking try us, and then all of our farmland is like basically in the goddamn in between the fucking valleys and the mountains. It's Afghanistan, right? With fucking, you know what I mean? All the
it's Afghanistan,
with the
but with more guns and less fucking Muslims.
Yeah, but we elected a retard and a dead man to the motherfucking to the U.S. Senate. So I mean, so that's a bit of a
we don't
problem.
talk about Pinhead like that.
yo, like yeah, I mean, and again, we get back to what I'm saying, like the idea that like these colleges are actually creating people that vote for these motherfuckers, right? And Gen Z is way worse than the millennials were. I'm gonna put that out here right now.
Yo, we are a fucking product of our surroundings. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yes,
people up into the age of like, let's be generous here. Up until about the age of like 23, people cannot think for them fucking selves. So when they're surrounded by literally nothing but 40s. Propaganda, it's just kind of gonna, slap a lot of fucking people down, especially considering midwits.
Well, there's a funny thing going on in that people are rewarded for not thinking things through. The school system certainly doesn't want people who can think. So you're rewarded for basically shutting up. You're rewarded for being quiet and doing as you're told.
Motherfuckers are just dogs.
In a lot of jobs, the last thing an employer wants is someone who can think and analyze, because shut up and do what you're told. So, that behavior is rewarded, and it's gone through so many generations now that it's practically a value. Shut up and do what you're told is the best kind of person you can be. Those are the people who are getting the most rewards, it seems.
Well, Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber, if you ever have a chance to read his Systems Need a Trick, he said, look, man, college professors are the most fucking complacent, compliant, like fucking followers in the entire world. The most unimaginative people you could possibly come across are fucking college professors, right? And so what are they going to reward? They're going to reward people who are compliant. And that's literally what college is, right? Like, that's why they want you to go to college is for two reasons. One is because you have that college debt that you're going to have to pay. So like you're going to have to stay employed. Yo, man, fucking Ryan, what up, man? Right? He's the motherfucker to introduce me to that. And Tetsuya Kai, motherfucking Trash No Say Dracula. Nice to see you out here. Right. Ryan, if you want to join, man, the link is in my Discord. If you want me, I'll put it in the motherfucking chat. Ryan is, of course, you know what I'm saying, a guy who's fucking dumb smart, right? Who just, I don't know, man. Like, he can't draw a crowd. I don't know why it is. But anyway, Underdog, man, fucking nice to see you out here. Right. But yeah, so like again, the reason why they want you to go to college is because they know that you will sit and comply with whatever the fuck it is they're going to tell you.
Yes,
because you spent 22 years of your life doing so.
Well, not just that. Look how colleges reward the college students. Again, if you're someone who thinks and questions and and challenges the status quo, you're fucked. We just lost.
Well, yeah. Well, Cappy's gonna go in and out, man. Fucking,
Oh,
he's
okay.
he has really shitty internet up in his neck of the
redneck
woods.
internet. Okay.
Yeah. He's up in the mountains, but yeah, like fucking 100%. Like that's what they want. I mean, they want you to be compliant and complacent and shit.
And when you add that to the other thing they do in our our government school system, get your kids out of government schools, everyone. Our government school systems are very complicit, along with our legislators, by the way, and CPS. Because now if you fart in your kid's general direction, you're getting a visit from CPS, and they're going to kidnap your kid.
You're not wrong.
I know it's fucking insane. But what they've done there is they've created an environment via that kind of legislation and the shit they pull in the schools where nobody's feelings can be hurt, nobody can be challenged in any way. Oh, we don't want to do that. We got to be nice, and then everyone gets a trophy and all that stuff. So when your kid gets out into the real world at age 22, 23, and they lose their first job because they suck at it, and there's an employer who's not afraid to tell them, and they don't know how to cope with it emotionally or intellectually because they've been sheltered their entire lives. Well, no wonder they're coming back with a gun.
Well,
the only outlet they have is an emotional one. Go on, please.
Yes, sir. You know what I mean? So, man, fucking Tom M, how you doing, man? Welcome, my brother. Welcome. You know what I'm saying? Nice to see you out here. Right. So my mentality is, right, that I think that we're breeding this, right, through our advertising and through our like 100%. Right. And the reason why is because all they really want is good consumers. In the end of the day, they don't want you to be like you have a culture or a heritage or a history. Like they have an approved history. Like I was watching, God damn it, what the fuck's his name? The guy who was on Joe Rogan a whole bunch. Fucking like history. Fucking, he's a guy who does like he did Fingers of the Gods. It was a book. I forget his name. Don't matter, right?
Not Tyson.
Not Neil deGrasse Tyson. There's a different guy, right? So he sat here and he has a show where like he has a theory that like there was like a fucking civilization before the civilization today, right? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that a lot of the older monuments, and he's being proven right by like, you know what I mean, like a lot of these like newer things that are being excavated, like fucking the one over in Turkey, Göbekli Tepe, I think it's called, right? But basically, like these things are like fucking, 16,000 years old, right? And these things being 16,000 years old, right, shows that, like there's much older shit out here and people were doing things way before they thought they were. Right. And he went over to the snake fucking thing in Ohio, right? And they literally locked him out and told him he's not allowed to film there. Right, because they said they didn't approve of his narrative. Right, yeah. So like, it's like, again, Graham Hancock, that's a dude, right? And so this is where the mentality comes down to with these people is like, they don't want you to understand history. They don't want you to have any theory other than what it is that you fucking have right now, right? Because having alternate ideologies and having things that are different than what they've taught you makes them seem fallible, and having them be fallible, it makes, how do I put this? Like it makes you have a better understanding of yourself and have more confidence in yourself and more confidence in like people, right? Just the people as a whole will have more confidence, and they don't want that. They want the system to have that fucking confidence. Right. And that's really where shit really comes down to. You know what I mean?
It's a waste. It's funny because it's a waste of energy. Because there's always going to be shit disturbers like us.
Well, yeah, no, right? Like we're a dying breed in the end of the day, right?
Maybe.
Like, because we're not standing. I'm not standing here going, I'm gonna tell you what, folks, the interdimensional space demons are out here, spirit could be children. I got a documentation. Like, I'm never gonna tell you that nonsense, right?
No, that's a different story.
Yeah. But what I am gonna do is I'm gonna fucking like give you an alternate ideology of like what all this shit's about from a perspective of somebody who's actually going like, yo, how does this power really move? Right. And I'm gonna go, do you know that like all the things that you're aiming for and all the things that you want in life were sold to you by advertising executives? Your entire culture and ideology is a fucking corporate goddamn facade. And maybe we should have a conversation about that and go like, is this good for human beings? Is this really what we are? Nothing more than automatons to be switched in and out at fucking corporate fucking offices? Is this really what we want to be in the end of the day?
Think about it too, man. The okay, I'm not a guy who promotes violence, all right? But I can't help but notice that this idea that violence doesn't solve anything, that's an outright lie. Violence solves a hell of a lot of problems. It's not pretty, and there's going to be some consequences. But if violence didn't solve anything, why are we paying Ukraine to be at war? Well, let's face it, we're not. That's a
well, like I was talking to a dude last night, right? And I said, look, you know what I mean? Like if you want to conquer a land, right? You know what I mean? Like in Afghanistan, we weren't trying to conquer the land. We were trying to turn it into Idaho. Right, where like it's just like fucking little corporate state where they have freedom and they have like like all this shit or whatever, and they have like a capitalist market and all these things, right? And the State Department like was flying like trans flags and gay pride flags and shit all over the fucking place, and like these are mountain people who have no roads and struggle to eat every day, right? And they fucking basically said eat a dick and like kept bombing them and shit because they're like they don't want their daughters to be whore and their sons to turn out to be faggots, right? So like that's kind of where shit gets down to. And I said, if you want to really conquer a place, what you do is you go in, you kill all the dudes, and then you take the girls as fucking, war brides and shit, right? That's how the fuck you do things. Then you replace that population and you turn it into y'all, right? Yeah. We don't fucking do this shit. You know what I mean? Like, that's not what we're fucking doing.
Because the divorce laws are so lopsided. Now, could you imagine that? I mean, going into Afghanistan and pulling all that off, only to have it suddenly be subjected to our divorce laws and our child protective services.
Right. Well, I mean, that's generally their goal, is to basically turn everything into what they know.
Yeah.
Well, no. They know women buy cheap plastic, high value add shit, right? Like anything that makes a penny, that costs them a penny to make, they can sell for fucking $30. They want it out there, right? Like iTunes, for instance, they're upselling electricity. Right? Like, legit, this is what they're doing, right? But like, females buy that shit by the billions, right? That's what they're doing, right? And that's what they want. That's why they want females to be free of like men and free of culture and free of heritage, because like, it drives the goddamn, it drives the fucking economy. In the end of the day, like, if this is corporate capture of your motherfucking, of your government, of your fucking state, of your fucking tax dollars, of your fucking community, this is what this is, right? At the end of the day, that's why you don't have a community anymore, right? Because of the fact that like all these females and all these old people who are getting checks from a federal government that's thousands of miles away from you. They're not tied to y'all for their fucking subsistence. They're not tied to y'all for your shit. That's why that's why everybody's strangers and everywhere they fucking go. But you fill your life up with this cheap plastic garbage. You try to like fucking, accumulate enough trinkets, and that's how you win the game. And that's not good. In the end of the day, that's not a good thing.
It's just, I'll tell you what, man, getting old, the patterns start to emerge.
That's true.
And you just, on the one hand, you shake your head like, okay, let's play the election game. Let's dip one toe into that for just a second. I don't think I'm very smart. I don't think I'm the smartest guy in the room. Okay. I never do.
I feel like you are.
Well, the fact that you can admit that means that you're at least smarter than most people here.
In any case, don't put me on an ego trip, man. The outcome's never good. But no, I don't think I think different people are smart in different ways. And, everyone's got an area where they're really smart. I don't think it comes down to one being smarter than another. But that's me. I'm an American. That's my kind of thinking. And I see these elections that we have where, just 4 hours ago, we could count ballots in a day. And now suddenly 4 hours later, it takes 4 weeks for some reason.
I mean, that's a fucking new trend too. That only started with 2020, as far as I'm aware.
I see this. I see other kicks to the system. Like when it comes to elections, for example, why do we need flashing lights and sounds and computers that make pancakes to count fucking votes? Why can't we have an entirely mechanical system that no one can hack electronically, that's not networked in any way? You put in your card, you press your buttons to select who you want to select, you pull the lever, and it physically punches the ballot. So that it does so in such a way where there's no hanging chads, none of that shit. And even if it is a hanging chad, if the mark is in the right place on the paper, then that's what the vote is, even if the chad hangs. And then count the shit by hand. But no, we need flashing lights and sounds for some reason, like it's a 1970s Star Wars toy, to do all this shit for us, because it's faster, it's better, it's more efficient. No, as it turns out, it isn't. Get your ass in there and start counting. We don't need high-tech garbage for everything. Plastic trinkets, as Tom might have mentioned. It's a good example of the plastic trinkets.
Mobug has a point about this. He said, when you're a government and you have a problem about, electronics, who do you ask? Do you ask the average voter, or do you go to people, who fucking know some shit about, electrical engineering, right? You go to fucking Harvard and you ask an electrical engineer at Harvard who's actually never worked in the fucking field. He's a professor, you know what I mean? And then they stand here and they give you this system. That's how this shit works, right? And that's how it's always worked, forever now, right? For the past, 60 or 70 years, it's, these are sciences of fucking government, right? And the government's offloading its fucking responsibility to, the goddamn fucking the colleges. And that's why our colleges are so fucked up, is because they're polluted with the responsibility that's supposed to be delegated to our fucking, elected leaders. In the end of the day. And that's kind of where the problem is and shit. Yo, XD, man, what up, man? Fucking nice to see you out here. You know what I mean? Yo, keep going, my brother. Fucking, so, all right. I don't have a problem with mechanical shit or electronic shit, but the problem comes down to that.
No,
when it comes to places like Philly or Chicago or New York, right? We know 100% sure that these are corrupt fucking places, 1,000%. And these people will do all right. This is something I came up with, the politics of fear, right? Every time I've talked to somebody who's trans or a homosexual or who's on the left, right? Yeah. They always have this ideology that basically they're going to be hunted down in the streets if the Republicans come to power, right? And that's dangerous in the end of the day, but it gets votes out. And they know that that's how they get votes out, is by making people scared shitless.
Fucking fear porn. You can just never get away from it.
Right.
So how do we stop that?
Prove them wrong. We had 4 years under President Trump. How many
gays were killed and who by?
Yeah, no kidding. How many gangs of anti-gay street merchants have gone out and how many of these packs of anti-gay vigilantes were there? How many murders?
I've never met one, right? Personally, I've never seen one.
And,
but hang on, wait. Let me address this right here. Okay, look here. All right, here's the problem. Okay, so when you are a criminal, right, and you're in a pack of 100 people, right? Mm-hmm. The ability to spot that criminal in 100 people is way easier than it is to spot that criminal in 1 million people, right? You're a needle in a haystack at that point.
Correct.
So like the fuckery is much easier to cover up when you're in a fucking bigger place than you are in a smaller place, right? Like my town has 850 people in it, right? Like there might be some fuckery, but let's keep this all the way honest, all right? 800 people, you figure there's maybe 300 homes, 400 homes, something like that with all the families here and shit, right? You know, the amount of money that you're going to be able to steal when the property tax for everybody here who pays is maybe $1,000. The top it can be is $300,000. The amount of money you can fucking steal and the amount of schemes you can come up with when you have 1 million homes, right? And you have $1,000 coming in from each one of those, right? That's $1 billion. The amount of schemes you can do are fucking unbelievable. The amount of shit you can, like, if I was paying you, you know, I mean, $1,000 a week, right? And you had some missing out of your check, you would notice it. But if I was paying you, you know, I mean, you know, $850,436 and a little bit slipped off, and it was on a regular basis because of the fact that some people didn't pay, or, you know what I mean, like fucking some people moved or whatever the case is, and it fluctuated much more. You wouldn't notice that at all, right? And people can just stand there and take off the top on a regular basis, and you would never fucking know because you would just assume somebody moved. That's the fucking difference,
right? I forgot what I was saying now.
And going back to the point of fear porn.
Go ahead, fear porn. You ad hoc, you gonna finish that fucking statement, or just like going back to the point of fear porn?
Well, I mean, that's, yeah, I mean.
And now back to unanswered questions.
Yeah, there you go. Honestly, I don't really see how there's a real answer to that. I mean, that's just intrinsically ingrained into human, is just to fear what you don't understand. And when someone is here telling you, you know, what you should fear and you don't really understand it, you're always going to be terrified of it.
Or at least trepidatious.
Yeah. Rolling that over to the fucking packs of, you know, white supremacist, homophobic vigilante gangster folks who would go out in packs and basically act like it's 1940 and they drag, you know, the gays out of into the streets in the dark of the night and pretty much disappear them into these camps, then work them to death and then kill them outright. Yes, I'm kind of drawing the vibes here on this one. That didn't happen. Why? Because the media didn't report on it. You guarantee you, while Trump was in office, if that shit had happened, the media would be all over it.
Oh,
wasn't the case.
Be all over it like a drag queen reading party.
They'd be all over it like like the last couple of stories where they pounced and claimed that the criminal was that was white and the victim was black. It turns out the victim was black, but the criminal was also black, and they backtracked that one damn quick.
Oh yeah, oh, here you go. They'd be all over it like Amy Schumer on a bad joke.
Oh, there you go.
But
we didn't get that for the 4 years during Trump. They were all Russia, 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 because they didn't have anything.
Right. But here's the thing, man. I've got no faith in the Republican Party. Got no faith in the Democrat. I've got no faith in any political party. I think they're a bad idea. But again, being old and seeing patterns and recognizing that we have opportunities as a voting base, I suppose. When I see that, like we were supposed to have this red wave, right? Or at least a red trickle.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a red wave. People were blowing it out of proportion and saying it's a red tsunami. I look at it as saying, yes, the goal has been accomplished. Biden is going to be a lame duck into like the remainder of this term. Right. But it wasn't this big, huge blowout that everybody was hyping it up to be.
Right. The thing is, it should have been, but not in the way that we might ordinarily think of it. By now, enough Americans should damn well recognize that the Republicans and the Democrats are the same party. And my strategy, and I've said this before on our own live streams, my own strategy is, you know what? Screw them. vote Americans into the Republican Party. And I have this whole concept about there's only three political parties in this country. There's the Republicans and Democrats. That's one party, and they're just different flavors and different speeds of tyranny. Then there's activists, which are just a pain in the ass and another kind of tyranny. And then there's Americans. The activists as a subgroup are the ones that fuck everything up for everybody. You've got decent trans and gay people out there who just want to live their lives, make their decisions, and not be hassled about it and go about their day.
That's fair.
But the gay and trans activists
who aren't really even gay and trans.
Right, exactly.
Fucking LARPers.
Yeah. They're the ones fucking it up for everybody, is one great example I like to use. So my theory is that what we ought to be doing, if we want to have any kind of cohesion in this country, we start with voting out Republicans from the Republican Party and vote Americans in instead. And the way you can tell the difference, well, I say that like it's a big secret, but no, you'll be able to tell the difference because the Americans will talk about personal liberty, personal freedom, and exercising personal responsibility instead of legislating nonsense.
That's the key thing right there. If they legislate accountability, you've got somebody.
Right. Now you do that, and you vote those people into the Republican Party, then the Republicans cease to be a problem for everyone except Democrats.
And I think that was supposed to be kind of the point of the red wave here, is that we're electing American first into the Republican Party. We're getting rid of the Renos, we're getting rid of the conservatives, we're getting rid of the the old Republicans that we knew from like the last 50 years.
We're getting rid of the corporate
we're getting rid of the entrenched career politicians.
In part, yes. But like Rand Paul I would probably keep. As one example, maybe Jim Jordan. I don't know. But yeah, for the most part, almost the entire Republican Party gone, replaced with Americans. You get Americans into those positions, and we're going to start seeing some real interesting change in this country. I got a question from Underdog over here.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Mitch McConnell and not funding GOP races in key areas, but instead wasted millions on election against two Republicans in Alaska? I think Mitch McConnell is a piece of shit. I think he's a rhino, and I think he's worn out his welcome. I get it. Okay, now I'm going to get angry.
Do it.
I'm going to let some of the anger out here. I'm tired of anti-Americans taking up roles in our government.
Thank you.
Fuck them. Get them the fuck out.
Get out.
Why, in the name of God and all that is unholy, yeah, I know what I said. Why do we continue to exercise this degree of intellectual laziness and allow these fuckwits to continue? Get them the fuck out. I don't care.
If you're anti-American, why are you still here?
Yes.
You can leave anytime.
That's the other thing I don't get. We have this whole planet full of different political ideologies and political methodologies.
They're so obsessed with the whole socialism out in the Scandinavian, Northern Europe countries. Why haven't you moved there already?
Exactly.
If you're so obsessed with it.
Well, they're not socialist, right? Number one, but number two, you have to remember the vast majority of the rest of the planet and anywhere that has white people on it are basically all the same, right? They're all like, you're not going to have any guns. Like, you might be able to get free drugs, right? And it's going to cost you an arm and a leg in taxes anywhere you fucking go, right? The problem is the rest of the world sucks balls, right? And again, I get back to, why can't we have different countries here? Why do we have to keep
the same argument, isn't it?
Why do we have to keep having the federal government? Like, why are we still a country? Like, why? Why does this have to keep being a thing? I don't understand why. Like, none of us agree with California. Nobody agrees with New York. Like nobody, like I don't want to be in Texas. Like, why can't we just like, fucking go, you know what? This is no longer America. Like, this is a new thing and we're going to set some new shit up. Like, why can't we do this before it's too late? Because these kids, these Gen Zers are coming up and they're all like, what is it? 30% of them are non-binary fucking people. Like,
Nah.
you wait fucking 10 years and it's going to get clown world is not even going to describe what the fuck this is.
Oh, I
It's
love it.
no. I know the exact description of what this is. This is going to be Universe 25 from Mouse Utopia.
I love it when the trans gay rainbow coalition flag people, and again, I want to make it clear, I'm not talking about gay people or trans people. I'm talking about the activists
Who aren't even gay or trans.
because it's a world of difference. I've like Tom, I've interacted with assorted gay people, assorted trans people online. None of the ones I've interacted with like this like the drag queen story hour. They don't like any of the pride parade shit. They hate all that stuff. They're just like, I just want to go to work, earn my money, eat my food, and be left alone.
I want to be treated like I'm human, not like this
Right.
Well, they're
arbitrary
not
thing of
humans.
me is the only thing
They're
that
not
existed.
humans. All right. Stop addressing them as people. They're not people. All right.
Which
The
ones?
fucking trans people are not people. All right. Homosexuals might not be people either. And again, you want to be homosexual, go to California. I don't no. Enough's enough, bro. Like, why can't we just go like, we want our communities, we want rules. Why is it so bad to go, we have rules? Man. You want to be a faggot, go to fucking New York. Go to a city. You don't get to live among the rest of us.
You're talking about the activists. The activists are the troublemakers. Everyone else just wants to do their thing in peace.
No. Again, walking around with your gay lover holding hands. I don't want my kids fucking looking at that shit. Fuck out of here. I don't want them to think that's acceptable. If they choose it upon their own free volition, fine. But I don't want them to think that that is a life choice that they are allowed to make. Flat out.
It's an interesting position. I'm not going to argue it because your mind's made up. So is mine. There's no point.
I mean, do you want your kids seeing homosexuals? Do you want them thinking that that's acceptable and like, that's something that like they can go, oh, well, I can just be that if I want to.
I want my kids to grow up with the ability to say, that's their business. I don't care.
Right.
Because,
like, real shit. Like, I'm fucking, I'm fucking dumb. I'm done like fucking seeding the ground to these motherfuckers over and over again. Like, what is the point in being conservative if you're not conserving anything? The fuck is the point of it?
Well, yeah,
the fuck is the goddamn point?
I'm a big
you know what I mean?
fan of gatekeeping.
Right? Like, real shit. Like, what is the fucking point of like standing here going like, I want things, you know what I mean, to like not like the whole art. Listen, again, this is liberalism, right? It is literally like, we're going to do whatever it takes to make fucking money. And that's all they care about is fucking money. That's all this shit is, right? It's like, we're accepting everybody because why? Because money, right? Like, the whole purpose of the Catholic Church, and this is why like people shit on the Catholic Church, is because the Catholic Church told you, no, there are fucking rules, right? There's things that you don't do. And they hated that shit with a passion. And that's the fucking problem in the end of the day. Right? This is where the fuck we are. Like, real shit. Like, bro, I want the fucking rules back. I'm fucking tired of this shit. Like, no, put the fucking bumpers and the guards and the guardrails back the fuck up. Or I'm not a libertarian. I'm not. All right? Because I'm not. I used to think that way. Like, oh, whatever the fuck. Fuck them. All right? No, because every time we cede ground, all of a sudden now we have people out here, minor attracted peoples, motherfucking broads banging dogs, motherfucking people out here like fucking dressing like fucking animals and having sex while wearing diapers. Enough. Like, enough's enough. Like, bro, again, I'm cutting the whole thing off at the fucking root. Fuck the bullshit.
That's stuff that takes place either in the privacy of one's own home, according to the rules, mind you, or it's illegal already.
All that shit is legal. All of these things are fucking legal. They don't care. Right? Well, they're passing laws to fucking make everything illegal. There's nothing illegal about getting dressed up in a fursuit and wearing a diaper. Nothing. There's nothing illegal about this.
You're veering into something new here too. That I feel constrained to comment on is what's the point of having any laws if all the prosecutors are just going to go, it's all right. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Yeah, you just burnt down a city. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, like, Tom, again, like, the dude in the fucking chat, pedophiles, they are making pedophilia legal now.
They're
They're
trying to,
trying.
yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, with these prosecutors, it's going to be. We all know what jury nullification is, right? I'm assuming.
Yep. Where the jury goes, like, yeah, we're just not going to motherfucking like we don't care about
Yeah,
this law, and they're
we're
going to go
not. Yeah,
whatever. We don't care. Yep.
yeah, we're exactly that. The prosecutors are doing the same thing here. This is prosecutorial nullification, where they're not prosecuting vandals, rioters, and child rapists.
Oh, yeah. It's just they're not bothering to charge him. And since the state's not going
Right.
to charge him and the victims don't come forward, there you go. They just walk.
Right, exactly.
Like, yo, and I don't want to get caught up on like the pedophilia thing. I don't even fuck like, yo, real shit, because I'm tired of everybody talking about that shit too. Like that one and the Jews are two to like motherfuckers go, oh, pedophiles,
Yeah.
oh, the Jews. Like everyone
Well, yeah,
loses
thing
their
is,
fucking
with
mind about that shit.
With the horny child rape, all you got to do is look to your local school.
This is true.
Yep. Yeah, I'm saying, look, real shit, dude. Like, yo, when is enough enough? When are the beatings gonna fucking like, yo, get y'all to the point where like you go, okay, enough's
I'll
enough?
tell you when.
When?
I'll tell you when. It's when we decide to stop letting it happen. You know, it's a funny thing with the Second Amendment and the Ninth Amendment. It seems to me that with those two amendments, the people of this nation have a right to enforce law.
Well, they have a right, but they don't do it, right? Because, like, again,
Yeah,
motherfuckers,
that's what I mean. They don't-
Americans are
Again.
allergic to responsibility.
Yeah.
Fucking allergic. They're allergic like fucking Jews are allergic to shellfish. They are fucking allergic
they're
to fucking
allergic,
responsibility.
They're allergic like schools are to teaching the Bill of Rights.
No, again, literally, like, yo, the schools will teach you the Bill of Rights because they want to weaponize it and go, like, you have the right to do whatever the fuck you want as long as you're consuming and not fucking up other people. That's like, again, literally all of this shit, right, is fucking like they've taken the law and they've weaponized it and they just go, we don't fucking care. We're going to do what the fuck we want because, like, yo, it's our right? Because you know what? Like, yo, your free speech harms me. So therefore, it's no longer free speech anymore. It's hate speech. This is all nonsense.
Violence.
Yes. Right.
So yeah,
again, we need to split up. We need to form new nations and put up fucking guardrails.
Well, we need to figure a way to transfer the people who want to live in each place to each place as well. You know, if I want to live in
100%,
the American
100%,
America,
100%, yeah,
then
100%.
There's got to be a trade-off with someone from the American America who wants to live in socialist Wukachaka. You know, because I don't want to live in socialist Wukachaka.
Yeah. Look, again, like, you just have a housing exchange. It's not that difficult, right? Legit.
Right.
Like, you go, like, yo, this is the rules here. 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 You live how the fuck you live. You know what I mean? And like, yo, fucking, like, yo, if you don't like it, then we'll switch you up with a fucking somebody who wants to come to fuck here, right? And like, yo, if you need more houses, then you build more houses in whatever place it is that you want, the motherfuckers want to go to, like, real shit. But enough's enough. Like, this is fucking nonsense. Like,
there's
I was out here. I was at the park with my kids, right? We're over here shooting basketball or whatever, right? And like a 13-year-old fucking boy walks up and a 13-year-old or a 12-year-old fucking boy, brother and sister, whatever, they walk up, right? And actually, I think the 13-year-old was a girl, and she said, "Hi, my name is Axel," right? And fucking like, she goes, "I'm non-binary." I'm in the mountains, in the hollow in Pennsylvania. Right. Yo,
hang on. I gotta groan. I gotta fucking groan on that shit. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, God damn it. All right, look.
You feel better?
That's a kid who's been indoctrinated.
100%.
That is some horse shit. I don't know why. I have my theories, and I think it's because they're people say
I know
say
why.
pedophile, and that pedophile is really the wrong word, because in the strictest of definitions, that's child lover. I prefer misopodist.
Misopodist.
Yeah, because a misopodist is someone who hates children.
Oh.
And these things that they do to kids via the schools and God knows what else, that's people that hate children. School boards hate children. Teachers unions hate children. They're all misogynists.
No.
Child
What this
rapists
is.
hate
Wait.
children.
No. What this is. No. Here's the thing. All right. Here's what this is. Okay. What this is this is legalese just gone to like the unbelievable extent that like just it's parents have sued the dog shit out of these fucking schools to the point where they just bend over and go, okay, whatever you want, right? And the kids just have the inmates are running the fucking asylum at this point.
True.
Right? That's what happened. They don't hate anybody. No one hates anyone.
Well, no,
They just don't fucking they just don't fucking care. Right? Number one. And number two, all these fucking people, all the people in these fucking schools are fucking the teachers were all college educated fuckwits.
Let me phrase it another way, or put it in different terms then. Similar terms. If you're someone who tries to mess a kid up in their head that they think they're the other gender, if you're someone who tries to force children who are too young to understand it into reading all the horny sex books to get them ready for sex, if you're an adult who tries to who goes to work in a school system just so you can have access to children to fuck and probably mentally damage for the rest of their lives, in all of these cases, are those loving acts or hateful acts?
They don't care.
I know they don't care. I'm not talking about their motivations.
They don't. Again, you are. If you're saying they hate kids, right? Then you're saying they have hateful motivations. They don't have any motivations at all. Like, their motivations are like, again,
entirely selfish, to be honest.
These are 22-year-old fucking females coming out of fucking college, right? Who have never dealt with the real world, who spent fucking, again, 22 years in the goddamn indoctrination center, raised in a suburb, completely goddamn fucking filtered away from everything, and completely motherfucking like everything around them has been sterilized and pushed out of their fucking way and cleaned to the inch of its life, so that they would never have any problems ever, right? And they've had such a good goddamn life that they think anything that stands in the way of their bullshit happiness is the motherfucking devil and is the most horrible thing in the world, and it's something that they should fight against.
Right.
That's what this is. Right.
It sounds like a high school mean girl going right back to what she knows because she's comfortable there, and that's why she's back in the school system, except this time as a teacher, but not as an actual teacher. That's just the cover.
Well, no, she's there as a teacher. Nothing to do. Again, they're there as teachers, right? And they go, I want to make an impact on these kids' lives, right? And they see it as being freeing, right? Like they're freeing them from the motherfucking shackles of their modern fucking patriarchy, because that's what they've been taught their whole life. Because the only authority figure they ever had was their dad until their mom divorced them.
No, he's not wrong.
I know I'm not wrong. I've had a lot of time to think about this shit. Like, real talk, they don't hate anything. They think they're doing a good job.
No, you're right. They don't hate anything. I'm just saying that hate can manifest in
they've got the blinders on, I think, is what we're talking about.
The other thing about getting old is you forget all your fucking words. Indifference. Hate can present as indifference. And the only thing they hate is what raised them, because they feel as though what raised them held them back in life, right? Like, again, their parents didn't let them go to a concert at 13 with their fucking friends who were dressed like fucking whores. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, you know what I mean? They want to let everybody else do that shit. This is the same attitude of all these people. It's the attitude of the people who go like, my kids should have a better life than I did, right? But when in reality you go like, you're a better man for all your fucking struggles, for all the bad things you went through. You're a better person, right? But they don't fucking see it that way. They see it as post-traumatic stress disorder. You want to have a fun way to express the idea. Would you be okay with these people telling your kids that they should eat Oreos for every meal every day?
I would never let my kids do that, but those people, I don't care. They're not my kids.
If they were telling your kids go to school and all their teachers tell them you should eat Oreo cookies for every meal every day, that's because the teacher wasn't allowed to when they were a kid. And like you said, they want the kids to have what they couldn't have. They want to have that impact on their lives. It's no different when it
Like,
comes
yo,
to the
I got
dirty.
you.
It's no different than when it comes to the dirty, horny sex. It's the same thing. It's coming from that same part of that teacher's brain. Except the teacher didn't really want to get bent over the arm of a sofa at age 8 and repeatedly ran through the shitter with a lubricated horsecock. The teacher didn't want that at age 8. Somewhere along the line, the teacher developed a fetish and has decided that, hey, let's wipe this fetish on these kids so that they can experience at a much earlier age what I discovered to be something really, really neat.
Sounds more like that they're trying to pass it on so they're not the only person who's had that experience, meaning they no longer need to feel the shame of said experience.
Maybe. I can see
I feel
that.
I feel like nobody's had like anybody ran through at age 8, right? I feel like it's just that, you know what I mean? Like, yo, again, they've been so sheltered their entire goddamn lives. They think anything that fucking stops them from fucking they're having their experience, right, in life. Just their in general life experience expressed completely, right, without anybody telling them motherfucking like it's wrong or whatever it is, right? They just feel as though that like that there is the most destructive thing that can ever happen, is somebody holding you back from what it is you feel as though you should be doing.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so therefore it just, they want to stand here and just do whatever they want to do, right? They like whatever fucking expression they want to have of who they are as a human being should be that, as long as it's not violent, as long as it's not masculine, right? As long as it's not something that, or like, as long as it's not, how do I put this? As long as it's not promoting, right, the motherfucking people who they feel as though have like shamed them and destroyed them, right? Like, yo, they hate the fucking small community and the people who go, oh, well, you shouldn't be doing this, right? Because they feel as though that's the one thing that they should do, right? Because they've been just sheltered forever and ever. They've had nothing but just being protected from everything their whole lives and have never had anything bad happen to them.
It's like cops with qualified immunity.
Yeah.
Honestly, it is. Because if you had qualified immunity like a cop, how big of a prick would you be over time? I mean, after a while, that has a over time, it's going to have a psychological effect where you just start treating everyone like a piece of shit. Very much like cops
we're
do.
victims. We're victims of our own success.
Yes.
In the end of the day.
Yeah, and teachers are doing that too.
Teachers. Again, like, you're literally like, it's not the fact, right, that teachers have like qualified immunity. That's not it.
No, they're doing
exactly what they're supposed to do.
I don't know, Tom. When you have the FBI investigating parents for being parents at the behest of the teachers, and the teachers cannot be removed from those positions because of the teachers' unions, sounds like qualified immunity to me.
It's not.
No,
it's
again, you're missing the big picture, right? This is what like the system wants, right? The system wants you to be a completely free consumer, right? They don't want any guardrails on itself. They don't want you to stand here and have somebody tell you that you're not allowed to do something, because that stops them from making money.
Right. You can't put gasoline in a diesel engine. But
you know what I mean? Like, you can't stand here and tell somebody that they're not trans or gay or whatever it is, right? Because you know what, man, that trans or gay person is going to spend a shitload of money on motherfucking, like, I don't know, LGBT flags and fucking Starbucks coffee later on.
Sounds more like they're going to be spending a lot more money on medical professionals trying to get all the qualified advice they need before they move on to surgeries and hormone therapy and blah, 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 blah. We know how fucked the medical system is, how expensive
all of it. This is all about consumption, son. That's all this shit, right? They want good, obedient, fucking compliant workers who are just going to be able to be switched in and out in any corporate office, right? Because this is the new British ideology. Like, so like in Britain, when, they were like coming up, right? It was the old, like, when British people had a problem, like, well, yes, sir, well, we have this problem or whatever it is, right? And like, they talk to each other in a certain cadence, right? No matter how upset they got, they controlled themselves and hashed shit out, right? That's literally this shit here, right? Anytime anybody shows aggression, anytime anyone shows fucking aggression, like, it's automatically met with like just disdain. right?
Hey Tom,
Because
we
like
just got called insane.
yeah, we are insane.
We are
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
Apparently, we are insane according to everybody else.
No wonder you act insane. Who says we're acting? Jesus, I'm not an actor. You guys actors?
Yo, man, listen. You know, like
On the weekends.
I'm not
half,
insane. In the end of the day,
I'm completely sober and I'm a half satirist. What does that make me?
right? Like I'm not insane, right? Like like I'm literally describing like the entire power structure as a whole, right?
Yeah,
like because this is all just this is all corporatism in the end of the day. That's all really this shit is.
And when it comes to the school teachers not being prosecuted, well, that's just the state taking care of the state.
Yeah, how is that any different from the state taking care of the state if the cops don't get prosecuted?
Well, because the cops actually have qualified immunity. It's not a system I like. It's something I understand. I would rather have a system of verified immunity, but that's probably a different discussion for a different time.
Well, we do have verified immunity in the end of the day, right? Like fucking, you know, like they go through case by case when somebody gets fucking harmed or killed or whatever, and they discover whether or not the police were motherfucking completely at fault by not following procedures the way they were supposed to, right? Like literally the governor that just got elected in Pennsylvania, motherfucking is a Democrat who, you know, I mean, was in charge of a fucking case where like he was prosecuting a case where a police officer harmed some guy down in Philadelphia or whatever it was, and the guy like died. But they said like the guy died because like the guy died, right? Because like he fucking did some dumb shit and jumped off a bridge, right? But they said like fucking, you know, the cops were not, you know, I mean, like implicated in that because of the fact like though they did not follow all the procedures directly to the goddamn book, but they still followed enough of them that they, I mean, like they weren't prosecutable. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, right?
Well, yeah, I know. So, they do have to be adjudicated. My idea of verified immunity is that when a situation arises during a contact between police and the citizenry, if there's something that, if the cop does something wrong that violates that citizen's rights, everything forward from that point in the interaction is now disqualified from immunity. Anything before that point would still qualify. If you see what I mean.
we kind of have this, right? So like, you know, if the cops don't follow procedure, like don't read you your rights or whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? You can have charges completely thrown the fuck out. Like that happens quite often, right?
Right.
But yeah, so that's really not like the entire point. Like the entire point of this is that like all this shit happened. That's why like, yo, there's a reason why like all the corporate interests in America are now like fucking donating heavily to fucking Democrats.
Oh yes, because the Democrats voted that in so they could make money.
Well, yeah.
Well, Republicans did too, to be fair.
Oh, yeah, everybody did. Right. And I mean, like all the corporate interests in the country is fucking standing here just dumping money into the goddamn Democratic fucking party platforms. And they're still barely winning in the end of the day. Right. Like it was something like in the governor's race, there was like $1 million spent by fucking Blake Masters and he beat the other broad. Right. And like, or he beat the other person. And when he did so, like, yo, like the guy spent like, I want to say like $30 million on the campaign and Blake spent like $1 million. Right. So like it was like 30-1 fucking spending and shit. But the reason why they do this is because of the fact that, again, all of this shit is literally just so these fucking people can make more money and have cheaper goddamn fucking labor. That's all this is in the end of the day. Because like, yo, like instead of having programs where like, you know, you have like companies out here doing internships or fucking high school graduates or people who are still in high school who are going to be engineers or going to be fucking whatever, or coders or whatever. They're standing here putting them through fucking colleges so that they can learn to be, you know what I mean, fucking well-behaved adults and compliant individuals so that they don't have to fucking stand here and pick from a group of individuals who's going to be compliant.
Yeah, I don't learn that way. I learn best when I'm actually on the job doing stuff. I'm a kinetic learner. I don't learn well just by sitting in a lecture hall listening to somebody all damn day.
It depends on the topic for me, but yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, it is what it is, right? So like they want you to they want to be able to hire compliant adults who are fucking able to do or who are like trained in their fucking corporate fucking nonsense.
Right, like I said earlier, they don't want people who can think.
That's probably why.
No. Like that, there's a reason. There's a reason why like your companies don't want you to like have any leverage. You know what I mean? They don't want to be reliant upon you. You know what I mean? They don't. That's why we don't build anything good anymore. That's why we don't have like massive amounts of breakthroughs because like companies don't want to hire people who have leverage over top of them. You know what I mean? They don't want to treat individuals like fucking, you know what I mean, like they're fucking valuable, because they want to be able to fire them and replace them with somebody else almost immediately.
Yep.
Well, sounds like I'm about to lose my job then.
Well, yeah, go ahead, ad hoc. See, you know what happens the moment you stand here and try to stand up for yourself against a company. You've done it before. You've done this before. We've had these
Far
conversations
too many times. I'm about to do it again, probably. Companies trying to see if they can get me to work weekends. That's pretty much going to make me retire from my gaming group. I'm not having it. And if they push you, I'm going to say, look, you can either pay me double or you can keep me where I'm at. And odds are they're probably just going to decide to cut me loose.
That's how this operates, right? You know, so this is, you know, I mean, this is kind of like how shit works. They don't want good, competent, qualified individuals. They just want people who are able to be compliant, right, and are good bureaucrats and managers, right? Because that's what this system produces. That's what college produces, are fucking management. You know, I mean, they produce fucking bureaucrats. And whether it's for the government or whether it's for a corporation, it doesn't fucking matter. They just want bureaucrats who are going to sit down at the fucking desk all day and do their goddamn job and not ask any fucking questions.
Which sucks, because a lot of the jobs that I usually go for, one of the first questions they ask me are, can you work independently by yourself? Well, yes, I can. They hire me, and then the situation pops up where I have to be independent and think for myself. They look at me and said, you shouldn't have done that. Here's your pink slip. Goodbye.
Well, yeah, they don't want you, again, they want you to do what the company wants you to do, not what they want, well, not what you want to do.
Well, they shouldn't have made it an independent work environment.
They don't really want it to be an independent work environment. They want you just to do what it is that they want you to do your job, and that's it. Nothing more, nothing less. And they want you to work through a problem until it's fucking done and not complain about it. Right? Because that's what good bureaucrats do.
And that is exactly what I do, except they don't like how I did it.
It's worse than that. They want you to back up everyone else, but they don't want anyone to help you out.
Yes.
They also expect you to know when someone needs your help without being asked.
Am I a fucking mind reader? Exactly. I don't remember taking that course in college.
Well, you know, again, you didn't go through proper college. You just, you know, went through.
I didn't go through college, period.
Yeah. Well, I remember you said you were going through like courses to go do whatever the fuck it is that you're doing right now. The internet security thing.
I already took those courses. It's kind of already done. I can take other courses if I still want to, but still, it's like not even proper college. It's like going to a trade school. It is. Really is.
Yeah, but this is what this is. Right. You know, they want you to be able to be switched out and have the mentality that libertarians have, which is like anything's okay. We don't care who we work with because money's green. Right. Which, again, is a bullshit thing. You need motherfucking rules. Right. Like right now, like, I literally, like, they know what it is at work with me. Like, when I show up to work and I go in, they introduce me to somebody new every once in a blue moon. They're like, oh, yeah, this is Tom. You'll probably never see him because he doesn't come in the fucking office. Right. that's how it works with me. Right. Like, they're like, don't ask Tom to do some extracurricular bullshit because he's going to tell you to fucking fuck yourself. Right. That's just how this operates. Right. It's how it's always operated with me. It's like, oh, Tom's that dude, you know, like fucking, he's not interested in fucking dealing with your fucking nonsense. You don't work well with fucking dumb people. You know what I mean? He's not interested in dealing with fucking broads. Like, don't fucking stand here and put him around individuals who are upset about language. You know what I mean? Because he will curse a motherfucker out in a heartbeat. That's how the fuck I operate. But I'm really good at what the fuck I do in any field that I've been in, to the point of where, you know, it's just, you know, they'll let me the fuck be and let me go on my own and fucking keep me away from other people. Right. But again, you got to learn how to motherfucking be like me, which nobody else can. Not a lot of other people can do what I do. You know what I mean? Like, as far as like my fucking ethic to get it done.
Right.
You know, so, you know, it's retarded. You know what I mean?
I do.
Oh, fucking, yeah. And by the way, yeah, you can't get a fucking degree without fucking being indoctrinated. You know what I mean? And like, let's keep this in 100%. Degrees aren't important. Like, competency is important.
Right.
That's the thing. You have to be competent, right? And if you're competent, it will show.
And that feeds into what you're saying about they just want to swap people in and out, because if the company gave a shit about its employee base, they would promote from within, but they don't do that. They almost never do that.
Well, that's actually kind of a trick question, especially among the IT fields. You've heard about some of those jobs where they require you for like 15 years of experience just to get that one job. They're trying to make it impossible for outsiders to get that job specifically so they can promote within the company, because the government requires those people to post the job to outsiders first. They already have somebody mine internally. They just have to post those job postings and then say to the government, well, we posted the job and we couldn't find anybody, so we're going to promote somebody internally now.
You find the guy that's been working there 26 years and 4 months and 3 days.
Yeah, pretty much.
And been put on the posting and must have 26 years, 4 months, and 3 days experience.
Yeah, pretty much.
See, that'd be funny.
Yeah,
it's true. That's what happens.
Canuck is saying he said universities are nothing but indoctrination factories. Now it's all down. Yeah, look, man. This is the cathedral. In the end of the day, right? The cathedral. Again, the fucking universities train the management class who motherfucking go out and run the goddamn businesses and shit, and they run the government and they run the media and they do all the things right that we are involved with every day. And you're wondering why Cthulhu was swimming left. Right, it's because of the fact that universities are motherfucking the beginnings of all this nonsense, right? And the universities are completely and utterly owned by corporate pieces of shit, and everybody thinks they're progressives, and they're not. There is nothing motherfucking progressive about homosexuality or goddamn fucking trans rights or any of this bullshit. It's just that's not progressivism. That's libertarianism. In the end of the day, it's do what the fuck it is you want. This is the fucking goddamn religion of the merchant class. This is the religion of the upper class, and it's being promoted on everybody the fuck else because it's good for business. Simple. Basic.
Sorry, I was just
nobody got nothing to say.
Nah. That's kind of a mic drop moment.
The religion of the motherfucking upper and merchant class is this, right? You should be able to live how you want to live wherever you live, and that way you don't ever have to worry about having rules about how you conduct fucking business and who you can conduct business with.
You left out a part.
What's up?
Without harming anyone.
Oh, they don't care.
You could do it. I know they don't care.
Oh, they don't care. By the way, it doesn't matter. You have no responsibility to your community or your family or anybody else around you. Right. And you have no history and no tradition. You are an individual upon yourself.
As long as you get your fucking pumpkin spice latte, everything's fine. Do whatever you want as long as you get that pumpkin spice latte, because we need more people to buy that.
Which
we
want
more cheap shit sold. It's that simple. This is all motherfucking corporatism in the end of the day, right? And it's yes, it's you cannot be a capitalist without being a fucking liberal, because all of your motherfucking ideologies have to be able to be open to everybody, because any racism, any homophobia, any xenophobia, any jingoism is literally a fucking shit. It's like when you have something that slows it down.
Republicans buy shoes too.
Not a retardation. Not that. It's a fuck. God damn it. Shit, man. Listen, when you have something that makes something not work as well. That's the word I'm looking for here.
The monkey and the wrench.
Not a monkey wrench. It's it's an inefficiency. It's an inefficiency in the system. Right? It's a goddamn inefficient. Any racism, any jingoism, any homophobia, anything that motherfucking stops you from working with other people is an inefficiency in the system.
Right. Meanwhile, but see, there is some gatekeeping that has to be done, though. I mean, look at the gamer groups, man. Look at the board gamers.
Yeah, what about us?
They had a lot of. I think it was. Oh God, which it was a specific group. It may not have been board gamers. It might
Which
have been
one?
It might have been tabletop games.
No. I have a general idea what you're talking about regarding tabletop game. It's talking about Wizards of the Coast and all that bullshit nonsense. Yeah, gamers are not happy with that.
If someone had been a gatekeeper and kept out the people who have no interest in the game but wanted to comment on it anyway, fuck. Then the game would be in a much healthier position now.
That's really what we're trying to do now, is we're trying to push back against that. We made the mistake. We made the mistake of letting people in because we were excited for new people to play with. It turns out they weren't interested in it all, and they just wanted to use it because it got so popular and mainstream to push the message. Now we're pissed, we're fed up, and we're trying to kick them back out.
You want to know a really good example of the kind of gatekeeping that should have happened and didn't? Star Trek since 2009.
Fair point.
That's where some real gatekeeping should have taken place.
Look, seriously, y'all are trying to gatekeep corporate properties. Like, are you fucking serious right now? Are you fucking serious right now?
These are examples.
Like, how about a really good gatekeep? A really good gatekeep is, you know what I'm saying? Like, keep these fucking people out of your communities.
I don't have a community. That's the problem.
I mean, like, you should have a community.
I mean, outside of the internet.
No, I mean,
I don't want to
like your community that like you live in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's how this should work, right? You want to really like motherfucking throw a monkey wrench in the goddamn mix. Like, keep these fucking people out of your neighborhoods. Keep them out of your schools, right? Keep them off your school boards. Keep them out of your fucking areas, right? Real shit.
Star Trek has not always been communist.
Star Trek has always been a liberal's wet dream.
No.
Always.
Tom's right on this one, Ripper.
No, I'm saying Star Trek has always been post-scarcity.
Yeah, and that's
it is always the worship. It is always the worship of motherfucking like the government and the state and the fucking corporation mixed together, like in working in perfect harmony, and everybody being open to everybody else's culture. It has always been that.
Star Trek is basically what real socialism should look like.
Which only works when you're in a post-scarcity.
And yes, that is
situation.
correct. It only works in post-scarcity.
And even then, it's not a good idea.
Star Trek has always been liberal. It's been the idea of liberalism is motherfucking Star Trek. Like, that's their goal.
To my
Why do you think every bugman who went to college wants to fucking go to Mars?
Bugman?
Yes. Every bugman is a motherfucking human being who has no real morals or cultures or heritage, who buys iPhones and fucking little cheap gadgets, who sits here and thinks that like going to space is the end all be all for humankind, right? And has no real relationship with other human beings, right? Who isn't tied to motherfucking like the community around them or the land or the grass. They don't really give a fuck about like fucking sports, or they don't care about goddamn fucking, you know what I mean? Like religion. They all they care about is motherfucking like technology and science and the worship thereof of their intellectual goddamn properties that they fucking watch on the goddamn TVs. That's what a bugman is.
So the trust the science people.
No, we're two different classes of people. Tom's trying to take a shot at me.
Well, no, I'm not taking a shot at you. I'm just saying what a bugman is. I didn't even think about you when I said that shit. I was just saying what a bugman is. At the end of the day, that's what it is, right? That's literally like, a bugman is like these individuals who, you know, they're not interested in anything other than like motherfucking video games and motherfucking just their intellectual properties that are built by other goddamn people who work in some fucking office on a computer all day long, right? Who don't exercise, who eat like fucking shit and don't give a fuck about anything other than the fact that like, they want to get off planet and motherfucking not be part of this fucking shit anymore.
Yes, thank you, Tom, for calling me out like that.
They keep eating like shit, they won't make it off this planet.
Maybe we don't want to. We're tired.
Yeah, see? Like, again, bugman, right? Real shit. That's what a bugman is. Like, I'm not trying to shit on you ad hoc. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Like, don't be a bugman.
Call me out.
I am not. Like, legit. I haven't talked to you in like a month, right? Real shit, or months. Actually, like 2 or 3 or 4 months at this point. Like, let's keep this a buck. Like, I didn't have you on my mind when I said this. You know what I mean? Like, you called yourself the fuck out. I have nothing to do with that.
Sure.
Like, legit. I didn't.
Sure.
That's, again, these are extremely liberal people in the end of the day. Like, this is extreme liberalism taken to its fucking net end, right? It's where, like, you don't enjoy being a human being. You know, I mean, all the things that make us human. I like being a human. It's fucking great. You know, I might get to like fuck bitches and you know what I mean, eat well and you know what I mean, like exercise and go outside and go fishing. And I stand in the middle of a fucking river and I watch the sunset and shit like a couple times a
I'm
month.
talking about the getting to the age where I grunt when I stand up or sit down. You know, it's
Yeah,
always,
I'm getting there. I'm getting there myself. I'm getting there
I don't
myself,
like
but I'm
that.
trying to stay in shape. You know,
I don't like that. I don't
I'm trying
like,
to stay in shape.
I don't like sneezing in bed and throwing my back out. Fuck that.
Oof.
You know, the one
You know?
that bugs me, is when I sneeze and I fart at the same time and like fucking, you know, it feels like
And you
somebody's
gotta do a
ripping something
personal
out of my
check.
butt. You know, it feels like someone's ripping something out of my asshole. That one there is the one that bugs the shit out of me.
Yeah, I mean, you
know what I mean?
gotta. You're like suddenly happy you're not in public. You know.
Well, even if I do it in public, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not concerned about shitting myself. It just fucking feels like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like something's being ripped out of my asshole. You know, I sneezed the other day while I was taking a piss and just pissed all over the fucking toilet seat. I felt away about that.
You're supposed to stop pissing before you sneeze. It's supposed to be an automatic function.
It did stop, but like it aimed up at the last second. You know, before I
maybe
right,
what you got there is a side effect of the COVID.
Possibly, you know, it's a good possibility in the end of the day.
They're going to bring that back with a vengeance.
I just read an article today saying Omicron's fucking like coming in a new wave or whatever. I don't fucking care.
Yeah, that was right after this. That was right after this fucking article where they said, "Oh, you know, we fucked up with the whole COVID thing. Can we just, you know, have an amnesty and you know, forgive all sides?" Everyone looked at that article and was like, "Are you fucking full of shit?"
That was, oh my God.
Yes, there was an article out there about
the audacity to even ask, to even suggest such a thing. Oh God.
You know, it's like, oh, it was just like there was everything wrong on both sides, but can't we just forgive and forget? Yeah, everyone's looked at that and said
everything wrong on one side.
It's like, no.
And that was the side of tyranny.
And it's the very people that are asking because they know they fucked up.
We knew this was going to be.
They released the real one last time. The whole lab leak was in fact confirmed years afterwards. The last one was real.
It's just real ineffective, unless you consider, hey, maybe they wanted to kill off all the older people that are more likely to vote for things like liberty.
I wouldn't put it surprising. The whole thing was an accident, but they capitalized on it.
Oh, it was a big it was an exercise in tyranny. And there were so many of us that knew just the first time they mentioned Wuhan or COVID, when the first time they mentioned it, we all knew that it was going to be a major exercise in tyranny. Nobody wanted to listen. Oh, what do you know? What do I know? I know what governments do. I know that if you want to be correct in your predictions, all you have to do is assume the worst of your enemy, and you'll be right. In my case, my enemy is tyranny. That's all you have to do. Assume the worst of the tyrants, and you'll be right.
I'll be honest. We're not. You should never assume the worst of your enemy, because I feel like our enemy is retarded. In the end of the day, like they're fucking retarded, and they really don't know how to do anything, right? And they're not trying. Again, these are all people who have a utopian ideology in their fucking heads. They all want Star Trek. That's what they want. Right. And that's what they want. Right. And they're trying to make moves to get there. And they just don't know how to do it.
Yeah, that was the hilarious part because Star Trek was after that whole entire thing. They do realize that it took World War III to get there, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
No, seriously, World War III is what it took to get there. Nuclear World War III.
Well, not just that, also the eugenics wars.
I wasn't aware of that one, but I'm not a big Trekkie.
But I was onto something there for a second. I fucking got lost.
Yo, wait. That's not the one I want. Fucking this is it right here. Nobody is in charge. They're all utopian. No one is calling the shots. Yes, 100%. Like, it's all bureaucrats. And this is the thing. Like, when you elect people, what they do is they give power to other people to motherfucking do shit, right? They all just stand here and motherfucking, like, do whatever it is they do, and they don't have any responsibility. They have no one they're answering to, right? And so, like, their only responsibility is to grow their power and grow their reach and spend their budget every fucking year.
It reminds me of this one story I found in a YouTube comment somewhere. It was actually pretty hilarious. So this young businessman decides that he's going to buy a business on the U.S. railroad answers. So he finds a business, he buys it. He then walks into the business he now owns and asks the CEO, hey, what do we do here? Nobody, not even the CEO, can tell him what he does here. So he goes to talk to his customers. The customers are like, I don't know what the fuck you guys do, but all you guys do is just, take our money. He finally, gets a bunch of accountants, follows the trail, finds out that not only is his business going under, but he's also draining the accounts of his other customers. So first thing he does, the next week, fires everybody, shuts down the entire business and sells the building. And his clients' profits go up, and he actually made more money than he spent on buying the business, just selling the building. Turns out he bought a business that was nothing but a parasite on the railroad companies.
Sounds about right.
Yep. That's, again, nobody is in charge and nobody has any idea what's going on. Like, when I get a trailer to move somewhere, right? Before it gets to me, it has to go through fucking 4 different corporations that are all billion-dollar corporations before it gets to me. Right? This is our entire system. Our whole system is just set up with just
bureaucracy.
Garbage bureaucrats who are in charge. That's the entire system as a whole.
For every teacher in a school, there are 10 administrators that simply look over their shoulder and judge their curriculum.
That's not true.
But it paints the picture of what the system looks like.
Well, that's not even really true, right? That's not exactly how any of that works.
Okay, 15 administrators.
No, there's what I want to say, probably for every one teacher, there's like probably
if it's more than 2,
maybe half of a person, right? Because there's less people in administration than there are teachers, right? Because
that's how pyramid schemes work.
My local school district, right? My local school district, it has 27 elementary schools, 3 junior highs, and 2 high schools, right? And for that, they have, I want to say, like, I think they have one administration building that has like 50 people working in it.
Well, yeah, because that's just how a pyramid scheme works.
Well, again, but it's only
the higher
50
up
people.
You go, the smaller it gets.
Yeah, but it's only 50 people working up top, right? Those are the administration, right? And then the office, there might be like 4 people per school, you know what I mean? And then fucking 2 principals and like a couple of guidance counselors or whatever. But again, that's not how any of this shit works. Right. The problem isn't like that on that level, like as far as teachers are concerned, but the problem is like companies don't hire employees. Right. So like when you go to like any warehouse in America, right, that's warehousing and good, which is, by the way, this is the largest part of fucking American fucking economy as a whole. Right. You go to any warehouse, right, you'll have employees inside who are working for a temp agency. Right. And you'll have like 3 or 4 like management people from the original company. The land in the building is leased from another fucking real estate company. The fucking people who are moving stuff around in the yard dogs are all fucking another company, right? They're hired in from like Laser Spot, right? And then the security who are actually doing the checking in and checking out of people are like motherfucking another company, right? And then the people who are doing the logistics, setting things up, moving them around, and like setting up loads and shipping them out and like bringing them in, right, are another company. And they'll be dealing with the company that motherfucking actually they'll fucking stand here and put loads on load boards, right? And then another company will pick that shit up and then they'll fucking distribute that load out to another fucking company who's going to be a subcontractor who will pick that up and move it elsewhere, right? That's how these fucking things are set up, right? Where it's like fucking 50 different goddamn companies, all looking to make a profit, all looking to motherfucking stand here and take a little chunk out of what it is at the end of the fucking road gets. That's how shit actually works in this country. And people have no idea about it because of the fact that like the vast majority of Americans just go to the grocery store and buy their shit, and they have no clue where any of it comes from.
Right. They think it's all in the back.
Yeah, they assume it works the way it worked back in like the 1920s.
They raised all the cows in the back of the grocery store and butcher them all back there. And
what they think is it works the way it used to work, where like you have a company that brings the cow in, and like it has employees who slaughter the cow, and then it goes on a truck and comes to them. That's how they think it works. That's not how it works at all, right? You know what I'm saying? Like a farmer raises a cow, and then like another person fucking stands here and bids on the cow, and then that company sells the cow to the fucking people who slaughtered the cow. Then the people who slaughtered the cow put it on a fucking they'll take that fucking shit and send it to a wrapping place, and the wrapping place will wrap that shit, or they'll fucking ship it out in chunks. Right. And those chunks will end up, at a grocery store where they get put together by another group of individuals who work for another fucking company. Right. And all of this shit, is motherfucking, done like, individually and done on a system that's completely motherfucking set up off of the fact that like it was just all like fucking corporate people who are writing off other corporate people, right, as tax expenses because they don't want to have the expense of having an American worker actually work for them because of how much our fucking tax system costs.
So everyone's got to be an independent contractor.
Yeah, and everybody has to have their it has to be a business. Who ends up taking the responsibility away from the original company in the first place. Like all those Amazon vans delivering your products. Nobody works for Amazon in the fucking delivery department, right? That doesn't exist. Right. What they do is they hire another company who fucking takes that product and motherfucking delivers it to wherever the fuck you're going to go to. Right.
Right. But and Amazon wants the credit.
Contractor.
But Amazon wants the credit, so they pay them to put the labels on the vehicle. But they still don't absorb any of the responsibility.
Yeah, actually, if you end up motherfucking standing here causing Amazon to get sued, like you have to pay the legal expenses of Amazon.
Right.
It's all bullshit at the end of the day, folks. You know what I mean? But look, it's been an hour and 36 minutes. I think we pretty much hashed out a lot of shit at this point. You know what I mean? And like I don't have any solutions, but like I just wanted to.
Well, no, half of the solution is identifying the problem, isn't it?
Well, yes. It's just again, we need guardrails back. We need rules, and we don't have any cultural rules. We need cultures again, right? Where you go like, this is what you're allowed to do to me, and I will not accept this.
Yeah,
that's what we need.
Back when to pick a topic that's close to your heart, Tom. We need San Francisco to be the gay capital of the world again, and leave Cleveland alone.
Fair point.
Just trying to help you out.
I mean, like again, like we need to balkanize, but like it is what it is. Look, I'm Tom Pease of Pino News, man. Make sure you go catch Mitch, man. Throw your fucking your thing in the chat, dude. Throw your fucking thing in the chat. Throw your YouTube and your fucking Rumble in the chat. You know what I mean? So everybody can check it out. You know what I mean?
Oh god damn it! I pulled up the wrong file.
Well,
yeah.
No, I have a links thing. No, that's not it. That's not it. Where the fuck is it? Oh no.
This guy doesn't have his fucking YouTube channel available.
No, I got the YouTube one. I don't want to shill YouTube anymore, is the problem.
Would you want to show your Rumble?
Yeah.
I need to get over on Rumble. I have a Rumble, but like, I don't know, just whatever.
I'll tell you what, Rumble shows you how much money you make. Yeah, on your back page. Dollars and cents. It shows you what, it right big fucking numbers right at the top of it. There's a section you can go to, earnings. It breaks it down by video plays. I don't know what this number is, but estimated earnings.
Do you make any money?
Yeah. Not a lot, because
we're about to be on Rumble, folks. I'll be honest with you, because I'm tired of not making any money for doing all this shit. Like, bringing out all this great info to y'all. Like,
we've got. I think we just got a payout because our number is smaller now. earnings.
Well, you better talk to your boy about that. But yo, look. Yo, it's Tom Pease with Pinoy News. Make sure you go sub to his channel over on motherfucking Rumble. You know what I mean? We're gonna get it done. We'll motherfucking start doing like a live stream a week on Rumble or some shit. Ad hoc. Thank you for coming over, my brother.
Yep.
Appreciate it. Thank you everybody in chat for coming to watch. I'm gonna holla at y'all motherfuckers. Peace be like one. I'm out.